Open your phone and the symptoms are immediate. Constant public outrage, crumbling trust in institutions, and a pervasive feeling that the social fabric is tearing apart at the seams. We often treat this as a byproduct of the digital age, but a deeper look suggests we might be repeating an ancient, recurring cycle of human self-destruction. In an old Indian parable, a sage traveling through a dense, ancient forest hears desperate voices pleading for salvation. He discovers 5 trapped entities. They aren't victims of a divine curse. They are imprisoned by the earth itself, pinned down by the accumulated weight of their own earthly selfishness. This structural diagram illustrates the concept of dharma, a heavy societal roof supported by 5 distinct solid pillars. Each pillar represents a specific ethical load a person must carry to keep a civilization from collapsing under its own weight. The first spirit explains that in life, he was a scholar and an educator. His role was the preservation of truth and passing knowledge to the next generation. Instead, he hoarded resources, refused to teach, and deliberately spread false information. He chose to keep the populace in ignorance to secure his own status. The second spirit was a ruler. His foundational duty was the maintenance of justice and the protection of the vulnerable from harm. He spent his life exploiting his citizens for wealth and abandoned them during crises. He even aided his nation's enemies whenever it offered a personal economic profit. This is how systemic rot begins. When the first 2 pillars, the institutions of truth and justice, crumble, the society loses both its brain and its shield. The third spirit was a merchant. He was responsible for the economic lifeblood of the community, ensuring fair trade and the distribution of resources. He prioritized maximum profit over human life, adulterating food supplies and hoarding essential grains during famines to drive up prices. The fourth ghost was a common citizen. His duty was to support the community through labor, agriculture, and civic stability. He lived in total laziness. Instead of contributing, he spent his years spreading malicious gossip and sowing division among his neighbors. Corrupt leaders damage a society from the top down, but greedy merchants and malicious citizens destroy it bottom up. When these 2 pillars shatter, the basic human trust required for a community to function disappears. A foul stench fills the forest as the final entity emerges. It is not a ghost, but a rotting, grotesque demon. In life, this man was a writer and a poet. He was the cultural architect, responsible for shaping the stories and values of his people. He used his talent to normalize malice. He wrote stories designed to inflame hatred and lust, destroying the moral framework of the youth and turning family members against one another for the sake of entertainment. This is the ultimate hierarchy of harm. While the others ruined the economy or the government, the writer poisoned the culture. In our diagram, this final central pillar dissolves, and the entire structure collapses into dust because the society has lost its soul. The trapped entities beg the saint for a way to break their eternal penance and find peace. The saint cannot magically free them. His only solution is to return to the world of the living and recount the exact details of their failures. Their salvation depends entirely on the response of the living. The ghosts are freed only when people hear their stories and actively recommit to their own ethical duties. The parable suggests that the ghosts of the past only find peace when the present generation uses their collapse as a mirror to change its own behavior. The demon writer has modern equivalents in the outrage algorithms, clickbait media, and sensationalist entertainment that define our era. We see the same mechanics of cultural poisoning at work today. Malice is monetized through our screens, slowly eroding the shared moral framework required for a civilization to survive. Rescuing a society involves a personal rejection of cultural poison. It demands that we apply the same ethical scrutiny to our media consumption that we do to our politics or our commerce. A civilization survives when individuals hold the line in their specific roles. It stands when we refuse to let the modern demons of media compromise our integrity.